You're listening to the Retirement Solution Podcast with John Hicks.
Thanks for checking out the Retirement Solution Podcast. And if there's a topic you'd like us to cover here, reach out to us through our website. Drop us a note at retirementsolutionradio.com. Fresh off a vacation is John Hicks over there. A lot of us taking some of those summer trips. You happened to go overseas, John, and you were telling me you learned quite a bit about how others view us here in America right now.
So I remember thinking not that long ago, man, maybe the U.S. isn't what it used to be. Maybe people really don't want to be here that much. Maybe we've lost our glisten as that, what was it, that shining beacon on the ridge that Reagan used to say?
Yeah.
Maybe we've lost that. And I had the opportunity to go to the Dominican Republic not that long ago. And I had an opportunity to see, and guys, if you've never been to the Dominican Republic, it might be one of the most gorgeous, beautiful, scenic places I've ever been in my life.
It's on my list to go to, for sure, yeah.
I mean, number one, you have wonderful sun, and they're going to say, oh, it might rain today, but it's 20 minutes. And it's so amazing, the gorgeousness of the water. It is the most clear, turquoise blue water you've ever seen. And it, amazingly enough, that seems to be zero pollution. Now, I'm certain there's some things out there, but not like what we see when we're coastal United States. But in all that gorgeousness, Jennifer, one of the things just dawned on me as I was talking to almost every single person that I met. They were in awe that we were American. Now, I know, and if you've followed any of this kind of stuff, that they have not allowed much traveling to the Dominican Republic recently. I was actually one of the first groups of people to go in. Not because I was special, because they need money.
Right, yes. They're like, come back, Americans, we need you.
Let's be flat out honest. Yeah, so the Dominican Republic said, we will give you COVID tests at the resort. We will cater to you in any way, because about 90% of their income comes from tourism. So these people have just been absolutely destroyed. But the amazing thing to me is that how wonderfully intelligent, educated, well thought they all were. But more than that, they still appreciated everything American. They actually told me specifically many, many times, I have a cousin that made it. He's working in the United States, and he sends this money home to his family, sends this money home to his parents. And the amazing thing to me is how hard they worked to do that. But here's the crazy thing. I think that, Jennifer, we hear these terms like immigration, illegal immigrants,
right,
and all these types of things. And people try to take sides on this. I have spoken to countless people who all understand immigration is how almost every one of our families got to this country. As we're thinking about being conservative and being fiscally conservative, like I typically happen to be, we're not talking about immigration. We're talking about illegal immigration, right? People that aren't part of the system, people that aren't paying their fair dues, people that aren't paying taxation, people that may not be good people. But what I'm talking about are the legal immigrants that come in our country. Everyone wants to still be here. But Jennifer, I did a deeper dive.
Okay.
Why? Well, it turns out that the average income in the Dominican Republic is $330 American a month.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Oh,
$330 American a month. Now, I'm going to contrast that with the bill that we are now throwing at everyone since the pandemic has happened. The American workforce that have been unemployed, and by the way, this is why we don't have very many people going to work right now. People are being paid to not work more than they were paid to work. As a matter of fact, the national average in the United States of people on unemployment is over $970 per week.
wow.
So what we're doing, and this is why I'm making this very vast comparison, this is very important for us to understand why people want to be here, is because our government is throwing away money for people to not work when people that work their hind ends off are making a third as much in a month as Americans are making in a week to not work. I don't know that I can say that more poignantly on how unimpressed I am with what's currently happening in our country.
Right.
But when you think through that, these people that were so hospitable, so willing to want to work, they make on average $300 a month. Now, I went so much further as to say, well, John, let's don't talk about averages. What are we really talking about? Well, let's do it. If you're a physician in Santo Domingo, which is the capital of the Dominican Republic, your average income is $18,200 a year. Wow. If you're a physician. I'll go one step further because I've met a lot of these guys out there. There's a lot of people out there that do software. You're a software engineer. Unbelievable trade. As a matter of fact, in the last 10 years, software engineers in this country are making deep six figures, even if they don't have a tremendous amount of experience. In the Dominican Republic, the average software engineer makes $8,000 a year. And so, why are people still wanting to come to America? Because we still are the land of opportunity. But for some reason, we're not treating it that way.
Right.
We're treating it like everyone out there's a pauper. We need the government to fix all of our problems, and we need to take all the money, siphon it off, and then we need to send it out to everyone else. Guys, this is only going to lead to more debt, more problems, more taxation, and here's the reason I say this. This is going to lead to our country being just like the Dominican Republic is today, but 30, 40, 50, 60 years from now when we go insolvent. Because we can't pay these bills. See my point? The reason that people want to be here is because we are the land of opportunity, but we're not treating it that way. We're not treating it the way that we thought. I remember when I was raised, my parents said, John, you can do anything you want to do as long as you're willing to work your butt off for it. As long as you're willing to sacrifice what it takes to hit that level, you can do anything you want. Now, you may not be the best at it, so you might want to focus on what you're really great at.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be a baseball player if you're only 5'6", kid. I mean, you could be, but there aren't a tremendous amount of those guys. Now, having said that, I have 4 or 5 guys that played on my semi-pro team that were drafted in the first round.
Right.
I was not one of them. It made total sense that I was not one of them because for some reason, when I was in 8th grade, 9th grade, I quit growing. They kept growing. And so they had the opportunity to do that. And many of them have made tens of millions of dollars over their working career doing exactly that. Now, me, on the other hand, even though I had the ability to try to do that, I had all of the opportunity. What the world was telling me was, that's probably not going to be your thing.
Yeah,
right?
it's okay.
But the opportunity was still there because why? Because my parents told me we could. So what we need to get back to is the understanding of what I was taught, right? What we were probably all taught if you're listening to this show. You can have anything that you're willing to work your butt off for. The work your butt off part is the part that I think is failed to keep being mentioned to younger people.
Yeah.
I don't know why in all of the translation, the part that was lost is you can have anything you want. But the most important part is if you work your butt off for it, somehow that was left out.
Yes.
All they hear is you can have anything you want. And then silence. If you demand it more, if you cancel other people's culture, if you do whatever it is, if you just demand more from the government. See, I think that we can all do better, but we have to understand what all of our families at one point in time that came over here to do was to create a better world. Are we creating a better world for ourselves? Are we creating a better opportunity for our kids, for our grandkids? Because that can happen more with culture, more with explaining things, more just being honest about how you got here, right? Mm-hmm. How your parents taught you, what you think about things. That is the starting point. But amazingly enough, teaching them about finances, teaching them about how we work hard. What does that mean? How to save at a younger age, how to put money away correctly, how to save for a rainy day, how we can be certain that as the world continues to evolve, we can be part of the solution, not part of the problem. That's what we need to teach. And I know a lot of people out there say, well, John, I don't know how to do that. Well, that's what I'm here for. That's what we're here for. That's what my team does. We want to show anyone that depending on what you want to do, there are multiple ways to solve for that problem. You want to retire 5 years earlier, don't know if you got enough money? You can solve for that. You want to retire off more income than you think you can actually get because the bank's not paying anything? You can solve for that. There are all kinds of ways that we can do better, but we can't do better unless we know better. So understand this still to date in my mind frame. Again, just having come from another country, a third world country, where people are begging to work their butts off. We got to be willing to work our butts off. And we got to be willing to understand when we are not the best at it. Just like I was not going to be a pro baseball player. Let them do their thing. If finances are not your thing, find your person who can do that for you. Find the one that can help you get to the next answer, right? Because all the solution is is an answer to your problem. And by the way, the government is never the right answer.
Thanks for listening. Want more from John? Find us online at retirementsolutionradio.com.
The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or any specific security. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult your financial advisor prior to investing. Any past performance discussed during this program is no guarantee of future results. J. Hagan Capital is a registered investment advisor. To find out if John Hicks is licensed in your state, please call 502-690-5635. J. Hagan Capital Incorporated is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal advice. Annuity guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products and annuities offered through John Hicks. Kentucky Insurance License Number 998827.